Yesterday, I put out a tweet that said, say one nice thing about your rival. Just try and do it. One nice thing. Let's just say it didn't go exactly how I planned. First person responds, I heard Missouri has pretty good meth.
Oh.
Then half the responses were just no.
Oh,
No.
that's perfect.
I'm not doing it. Then there were Walmart pictures. It just devolved.
That's
And
like
you know
a
what?
solid
It's
Walmart.
chaos. It's rivalry week, which is
So
maybe the
tough to
hardest
say.
thing to say. Say it 3 times. Rivalry week,
I refuse
rivalry
to
week,
do it.
rivalry week. That's about as good as I can
I
do
can
it.
barely say my R's.
But Cone, tell the story of last night of your betting situation.
Oh, man. I'm pulling for Arkansas basketball last night in the second half. They're down 3-4 consistently throughout the second half. Darby Lou's invested in this game now.
Yeah.
We're coming up with strategies on how Arkansas can come back and beat Creighton, and I can hit the third leg of my parlay, my basketball parlay. They're down 4 with 2.7 seconds left. They have a shot, but you know how the hope just it drains from your. It's fleeing from your body on your parlay. I already know at this point that Bowling Green is not going to help me hit the over in the Maction game. I'm like, man, it's going to be another 0-2 night. All of a sudden, in the top right corner of the screen, they say, next up, Arizona against San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
So, wait a minute.
You had Arizona?
That's the third leg of my
Is it because
parlay.
it was UA? Is it because it was
No,
UA?
it's because we sat in here yesterday morning
Didn't have the
and
spread,
tried to
right?
find the Arkansas line because I wanted to take Arkansas.
And then
it was
Arizona hit.
DraftKings' way of telling me, don't take Arkansas.
Right. Trust the signs.
And so Arkansas does lose to Creighton last night. I was relieved after pulling for them this entire game. Arizona goes on to win. We hit that parlay, boys.
I'm telling you, sometimes when it's always good when it works out like that. It's like last Saturday, halfway through the South Carolina-Tennessee game, go to DraftKings really quick. I'm like, I'm a live bet this game. Tennessee was down, I think, 10. I was like, I don't think it'd be crazy to live bet Tennessee right here. Put $50 on a live bet Tennessee to come back and win. They obviously didn't. I'm like, I still think it was a good bet. Wake up the next morning, log into my DraftKings. I had picked South Carolina.
Really?
Bet. I guess my thumb. All right,
I don't feel as bad now.
And ended up, so I think I won like $140 or something like that. But it's always good when
There
it
you
works
go.
out like that because I've been on the other end of that too, and that's not a fun situation. But you know what? In the comments in the chat, say one nice thing about your rival or anything about your rival. That should make it fun. LSU climbs to number 5 in the latest college football rankings. Booger McFarland says Jets quarterback Zach Wilson isn't accountable because he grew up with money, and Cristiano Ronaldo's leaving Man U by mutual agreement. I'm Jake Crane, and it's Crane & Company. The college football playoff rankings were released last night, and while there will be a ton of discussion today on why Team A is here and Team B is there, I wanted to go ahead and give my personal prediction on who will end up making the Final Four heading into rivalry weekend, a little bit of a look ahead. So give me Georgia to beat LSU to go ahead and secure that number 1 spot. I do think the Buckeyes, even though the weather may be nasty, will get past the Wolverines to lock up that number 2 seed, and here is where I see a little chaos moving on. I think Kansas State is going to beat Kansas this weekend and then beat TCU in the Big 12 championship. Now, that would knock the Horned Frogs out of the playoffs. USC dispatching Notre Dame and then either Oregon or Washington in the Pac-12 championship game won't be an easy task, but I think they will find a way to do it. So go ahead and give me the Trojans at number 3. That leaves 1 spot. And even though DJU has regressed closer to his old form rather than what we saw earlier in the year in his new form, I do think Clemson wins the next 2 to lock up the 4th and final seed. Now, that would give 4 different Power 5 conferences representation in the playoff, with only the Big 12 being left out of the dance. Georgia versus Clemson, the 1 versus 4 matchup, would be a nice rematch of last year's opening week. And USC versus Ohio State would have more scoring than Jake Gyllenhaal at a sorority party. Now, a lot can happen, and predictions are fragile. But the way I was brought up, scared money don't make money. I'm putting my foot down. Bring in my co-host, David Cone, former Michigan quarterback, Heisman candidate.
Yes.
6'7".
Yes.
Of thoughtfulness,
Yes.
hostility,
Mm.
and friendship.
That too.
My brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, has a mustache that would make Tom Selleck and Burt Reynolds blush.
I am Burt Reynolds.
He is Burt Reynolds.
The new Burt Reynolds, guys. I actually got a couple movie offers yesterday.
Oh, really?
Did you really?
Low budget?
No, I didn't.
Low budget?
I didn't.
Low budget film?
No budget films.
No budget film.
There's no budget.
Yeah, that's your OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
not-
$6.99 a month.
Is
$6.99 a month.
$6.99 a month for Blankles.
How's it doing? How's the Blankles OnlyFans doing?
I made 250 cents yesterday.
He's like, I'm here.
250 cents?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But guys, when you look at the college football playoff rankings and look, people will talk about LSU being ranked in front of USC.
Yes.
They'll talk about Alabama being ranked in front of Clemson. It's going to work its way out. If Clemson wins out, they're going to jump Alabama. If LSU loses to Georgia, USC is going to jump them. Part of me still doesn't understand why they would put LSU in front of USC. Though again, are you just trying to cause conversation because, if it does work itself out the way it's looking like, and that's not to say LSU can't beat Georgia, and if LSU does beat Georgia, that throws a big wrench in it because that is where the LSU being at number 5 matters the most. Because if they beat Georgia, let's say they move up, you got to put them ahead of Georgia, right? You got to put them ahead of Georgia. So therefore, would what? Georgia slip to 3 or Georgia slip to 4? Would LSU slip to 2? And the unbeatens, whether it be USC or whether it be TCU, they would, or Ohio State or Michigan, would obviously go to number 1. It would be the winner of Ohio State and Michigan, the way the rankings are set up. So I do feel good about it working itself out. Mm-hmm. But there is always that chaos agent out there. LSU beats Georgia. TCU loses. Clemson loses. USC loses. Alabama sneaks in there somehow. I'm just telling you, if Alabama sneaks into it this year, we need to start looking at seances. Where was Nick Saban when he took the job? Where's the Ouija board? What's going on if that happens? But it does look like it's going to play itself out.
It is going to play itself out, and it always has since we've had a 14 playoff.
True.
I will say, though, LSU being at 5 is just asinine to me. I mean, think about it. If you're the committee right now, you already know that LSU has locked a spot in the SEC championship against Georgia in Atlanta. And they have their opportunity already locked in and set. And if they win that game and they're the SEC champs and they beat the number 1 team in the nation, no one's going to fault you for putting them in. It would be the first 2-loss team to make it, but no one's going to fault you. And that's an opportunity for you to jump LSU up there. To put them at 5 right now ahead of a Southern Cal team whose only loss is by 1 on the road at Utah. Again, we can't do this game where we say, well, I think LSU would beat Southern Cal. Maybe that's the case, but the committee cannot keep acting like they're smarter than everyone else when it comes to football. This is them just trying to interfere in the process by doing this right here.
Do you think it's a publicity thing? Do you think it's so we're doing this right now?
Possibly. I really think they think they know football that well that they're saying, well, you know what? I think that LSU would beat Southern Cal and they're the better football team and they're the more complete football team and we're going to put them ahead. It very well may be the case this season that LSU makes the college football playoff, Southern Cal and Clemson do not, and that's deserving. It may work itself out like that. But why would you do this here? It's so easy to put Southern Cal at 5 and be right and allow them to lose to Notre Dame, which is not an embarrassing loss, but that will keep them out of the playoff, or lose in the Pac-12 championship, which will keep them out of the playoffs. Allow it to play out. And I really kind of think the same thing about Clemson, Alabama. I don't get it.
Here is where, and I agree with you, here is why I agree with you. Because I look at it in both scenarios, right? 1, LSU beats Georgia and USC wins out. Now, you can't put USC in front of LSU, even though they'll both be conference champions. Yep. USC will only have 1 loss. So now you've pretty much said that if this happens like this, we're not going to jump USC up.
That's a good point.
That's the part to me that I don't like. Instead of saying, you know what, LSU has 2 losses. They control their own destiny. They can make the decision for us. Mm-hmm. We'll put USC at 5.
Yes.
We'll put LSU at 6. And you know what? If USC wins out, they will be ranked ahead of LSU. And if LSU beats Georgia, they will also be in the playoff. Mm-hmm. Then on the other hand, in the second case scenario, you say, okay, we put LSU in front of USC. Well, USC loses and LSU wins. Well, we told you that doesn't matter. The same thing would have happened if LSU was at 6
exactly.
and USC was at 5 and USC
exactly.
lost. Nothing changes. So you created a problem. That's what you
is
created
right.
a problem.
And I think LSU fans understand that. LSU fans are saying right now, we don't care. We're going to go play Georgia, win the game, and we have a shot.
LSU fans are smart enough to say, you know what? We're playing with house money anyway. And we control our destiny. That's the problem I have with it. Now, Blaine, with Alabama being ranked in front of Clemson, that's another one I don't. Now, if Notre Dame was sitting here at 5-6 or 6-5 or somewhere around there, I could understand it a little bit. But Alabama lost 2 games. Clemson lost a tough game against a Notre Dame team that we're seeing has some life, and Marcus Freeman's really turned that season around since the debacle to start with the loss to Marshall. They did play Ohio State tough. But when I look at Alabama being ranked in front of Clemson, I just have to ask the same question that preacher asked. Why?
Why? I just don't know what the metrics are. Like
Nobody knows what the metrics are. There is no metric.
There has to be something we can put on paper and look at and like, all right, this is what we're going to, a criteria we can go off of. Because if losses matter, obviously, you look at LSU, they lost to what we know now is a good Florida State team. Won by an extra point and lost to, got dismantled by
40-13
by a Tennessee team.
At home.
At home, we all watched that game. But then we go to USC. I mean, USC, realistically, the one ranked opponent they played so far was Utah on the road at Utah, and they did lose. Other than that, it was nothing but unranked opponents. So schedule.
UCLA was ranked.
Well, yeah,
UCLA
last week was their only other ranked opponent. UCLA did just come off a loss against Arizona, who's not a great football team. But the thing about it is, like, I just don't get it. Right? I don't get it. I don't know the Alabama, Clemson, and look, the ACC is not good, but they have teams in there that are playing well. Wake's playing well. I know NC State lost Devin Leary. They're a different team. North Carolina was playing well. But Clemson has some quality wins and lost to a good Notre Dame team. So I go back to there's no criteria, and that's what upsets me. There's nothing we can go look at on paper and be like, well, this is why they do that. So at this point, I think they're just in a room colluding and making things up, or just trying to get 2 SEC teams.
Well, you know what? At least for the college basketball tournament, we look and they say, all right, it's RPI, it's SOS, it's this. This is where they're ranked. This is how the numbers come out. And there's still some argument about the formulas and things like that. But at least I can look to it and say, you know what? Pythagorean theorem. That's what they're using, I know. To me, this is like the same people that look at a Jackson Pollock painting and they're like, it's worth $2 million. How? What criteria are you judging that on? Like what, he threw it with his left hand? Like what's, I don't understand it. There's no, we talk about NIL not having guardrails. We talk about the transfer portal not having guardrails. Well, none of that matters if this doesn't have guardrails because you don't know what's going on. And again, we need real football people in there, not business people. And look, I look Barry Alvarez, like guys like that understand the game, that modem of thinking that may have been an AD, but not some of these librarians and entrepreneurs that business people they got in here. Okay, I don't want Stevie Wonder judging Miss America. Okay, we need to put football people in there, and it needs to make sense. And also, I don't think you should put Clemson based on what Trevor Lawrence did or what anybody has done before. And you can't say, oh, well, Clemson's been to the playoff before and they could actually beat Bama. So we definitely need to get them in there. No, it's year by year.
Yep.
It's team by team. If Clemson wins the ACC, they should already be ahead of Alabama. Now, does that mean that Alabama and Clemson on a neutral field, who would I bet on? I'd bet on Alabama.
Yeah.
But that's not how this works.
No, that's a good point. And for Alabama's case, I mean, they haven't trailed at the end of a game yet. That kick against Tennessee went through as after the clock was already at 0. Then they go to overtime against LSU. But right now we're having a conversation about 8, maybe even 9 teams that can make the college football playoff in the last week of the season. That I am thankful for. That is much better than just saying, well, we know the two teams here are
who's going to win, Alabama or Georgia?
Exactly. So this is a lot better than the alternative. And a lot of people are going to say, well, the 12-team playoff or an 8-team playoff would solve this. It would to an extent for what we're talking about at the top end. I just think it would move the conversation back. We'd be having the same conversation about 7 through 12 right now.
Look at the college basketball tournament. They let 68 teams in there, and the 69 teams like, what the hell?
Exactly.
And we still have arguments about that. But speaking about alternatives, all right, if you're not happy with the coffee situation, or maybe it's just mid, as we say, you need to check out our friends over at Black Rifle. And also, if you have a coffee lover on your holiday shopping list, this is right up your alley. It's a good gift, the gift that keeps on giving. You can get even more of it. They have the best brewing gear, thermoses, mugs, apparel, designed for folks who love country and coffee. And these guys, it's a veteran-friendly organization, and they do unbelievable things in that arena. They source the most exotic roasts from around the globe. You like that? Put on the Carmen Sandiego. Where in the world is she? Probably finding great exotic roasts around the world. All coffees roasted here in the United States by veteran-led teams of coffee experts, and you can stuff your Christmas stockings with the latest roast from America's Coffee for 10% off with our code BOOSTER. So right now, get on your computer machine. Go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER, for 10% off coffee, coffee gear, apparel, or when you sign up for the new Coffee Club subscription. It's a great club to be in, believe me. And we started the Booster Club. We know about clubs. All right, that's blackriflecoffee.com with promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for 10% off. Black Rifle Coffee, supporting veterans and America's coffee. It's a great product. Cone?
Country and coffee.
I want to get murdered out. I want to get the murdered out coffee.
The murdered out one?
I want to get
They have that one. Beyond Black, Silencer Smooth. They have all sorts of them. And the Booster Club.
You don't know it's good until it hits you.
Don't pretend, Booster Club, like y'all aren't drinking coffee every day. We know y'all.
Come on.
Okay? Support us, support veterans, support yourself.
That's exactly right. It's like a circle.
Win.
Never ends. Shout out to our buddy Rob Schneider. What's going on in the Club de la Booster?
What's up? If I missed your donation from earlier, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened, but I guess it got cut out for a second. So just put a comment in the bottom, and I will get back to it. Trey Bodenheimer.
What's up, dog?
What's up, Trey? $5 donation. It says, good morning, gents. How dare you assume my gender, Trey? It says, good news. You now know 8-Footer Island is below 7-Footer Island.
Okay.
And since you own 7-Footer Island, you now own 8-Footer Island. Well, congrats. Well, Trey, congrats, you're dead to me. And now you're never allowed on the island.
Cone, well, there has been, and not a lot of people know, there's a lot of litigation going on due to the area of where 8-Footer Island is. If you own the top of the land, do you own underneath the land? That's what we're trying to figure out right now.
Yes.
Cone's team is on it. He has a bunch of 7-foot lawyers walking around.
Well, that's crazy. I got a bunch of 8-foot lawyers.
That's horrible.
And actually,
for attorneys, it's better.
3-foot lawyers.
It's better to have the shorter ones for attorneys. You know?
Well, I have 3-foot.
We got a lot of vows.
Sometimes combine them, and it's 11-foot lawyers.
That's just horrifying.
Good luck with that.
I don't need luck. Drew Stein, $5 donation. What's up, Drew? Says the College Football Playoff Committee doesn't take a snapshot like other rankings. Their rankings are a prediction on how this season will end, and they shouldn't do that.
No,
that's a good point. That looks like what they're doing.
Well, that's not what this is.
If that's the case, then take Michigan and move them back.
If I want you to predict what's happening, start a sports show.
Yeah,
you're doing that. You need to rank it based on that week and that moment in time. Is a poll not a snapshot in time? We say that in everything. I already don't like committees. Okay, I'm just not a.
Don't like committees I'm not on.
Yeah, I don't like committees I'm not on.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. We need to be on the college football play. Here's what we need to do. Needs to be us. Needs to be Josh Pate. Needs to be Danny Cannell. Doesn't need to be Joel Klatt.
You really want to hear Danny try to get an ACC team?
I like Danny.
I like
Danny.
I like Danny too.
I like Danny. Guys from the SEC Network.
We get Luke.
We'll get Tom Luganville. Let's put together our own committee. The Committee of Balanced Men.
Actually, we should just do that.
Why don't we just do that? What's stopping us from doing that?
We'll get John Parker Wilson on there.
In the comments, what should we call that? It needs to be a way cooler name than the College Football Playoff Committee.
Look, this is just...
Maybe we change it to the
This is a Twitter question.
The, all caps, the real playoff
That's
committee.
Exactly right.
That seems to work for some universities that do that.
Let's go to...
you support wholeheartedly.
Let's go to Freeway Jared with a $10 donation. He says, woke up at 4:30 a.m., to pay the fine for jumping the gun and unnecessarily attacking Jake on Twitter.
This is funny.
About Zimmerman. Go USA.
So I think I mentioned this during All Access yesterday. And Freeway Jared, I really enjoy interacting with him on Twitter. He's been a guy that's followed us for a long time, and me specifically. So yesterday, I said the Zimmerman guy that got the penalty against Wales that led to the penalty kick for Gareth Bale. You know, the guy who should have been sent home and audited by the IRS right the minute he touched the pavement.
Okay.
I said he was now the Zimmerman I hated the most. And this just shows you kind of where we're at in society nowadays. So I was referring to my first hated Zimmerman's Ryan Zimmerman, who played for the Nationals, who used to just murder the Braves. If you're a Braves fan, you know and this is whether the Nationals were good, whether the Nationals were bad. And it was like Ryan Zimmerman's a good third baseman, played for a long time. And so I go on Twitter, and Freeway Jared's like, I could have done without the Zimmerman joke, but that was a great show, by the way. And at first I'm like, maybe he's a Braves fan. He's like, dude, don't bring that up to me.
Oh, yeah.
And then I realized he was like, George Zimmerman, the Trayvon Martin guy.
Yes.
Never even thought never crossed my mind. And so I messaged him, we were teaming back and forth. It's like, dude, I am unbelievably confused by your tweet. And so we started talking. He's like, man, I thought that's what you meant because society nowadays, we're so like conditioned to think like race and stuff like that. But again, you know what the best part about that is? We sat there and talked about it and figured it out, like and laughed about it. Now we're laughing at it right now. That's the problem.
I love that.
In society is that all of a sudden it's like, oh, you said something bad and it could even be misunderstood. But no, I'm not going to talk to you because you're an evil person because you may have said something that I disagree with. We figured it out. Like most of my best friends, and I think a lot of people listening out there, guy, girl, whatever, toaster, whatever. Blaine identifies as Panda now. I mean,
Panda.
I'm black and white. How are you going to call me racist?
That's exactly right. It's a high IQ play. Like it just kind of shows you where we're at a little bit in society nowadays. But Freeway Jared, it was good talking to you yesterday. It's been a while since me and you had DM'd each other. But no, that was funny. Appreciate the donation, my friend.
Let's go to Slay Dog. He says, my wife has been watching Magnum PI reruns. Nice. And I can say with certainty, Blaine Sass truly does rival Selleck's.
Yes,
it does. Well, I don't know if Tom Selleck's going to solve a mystery or try and sell me a reverse mortgage, but Blaine's mustache does neither of those. But his does is way worse.
We did a side-by-side with you and Burt Reynolds. I couldn't tell the difference.
I couldn't either.
Going. All right, Tyler Jarvis,
Smokey and the Blankle.
Smokey and the Blankles. Yes, that's what it was. That's great stuff. Smokey and the Blankles.
I love hanging
I'm sorry. Continue.
That's gold, man.
Yeah. Let's go to Tyler Jarvis, $5 donation. He says, one good thing about FSU, if they played Putin's army, I may pull for FSU.
Okay.
Go Kings.
Oh,
Some dude said yesterday, he said, if I was in a room, and I'm guessing it was an Auburn fan, he's like, if I was in a room, it was like with like Joseph Stalin and like somebody else and an Alabama fan and had 2 bullets, I'd shoot the Alabama fan twice. I was like, goodness gracious, dude.
One of the Buckeyes
it's fans, like that. That's the thing. It's like that.
One of the Buckeyes fans said, okay, I'll say something nice about Michigan. They're really, really good at making me celebrate after we played.
It ended up being a really fun, if you go down, it's a pretty funny thread. All right, one more.
Bryce Barnes, what's up, Bryce? $5 donation.
Thank you.
Says, can the team please explain why JSU and Prime won't be in the FCS playoffs?
I didn't see. Why they wouldn't be in the FCS playoffs. I'm not following.
I'm not 100%.
Well, the SWAC. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Mm-hmm. But what is the SWAC's affiliation? They don't play in FCS, don't they? It's basically the champion of the HBCU.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. There's not an affiliation to the FCS. Now, I would love to see Jackson State in the FCS playoffs, but I believe it's like its own division. I'm pretty sure it is. Y'all can fact check me on that, whatever.
Yeah.
But I believe I'm right. Okay, Coney, let's go ahead and get into 5 humongously big, gigantic questions.
The hugest questions there are, and I've got 5 of them. They are huge questions. World Cup is on.
It's the first time I'm hearing this.
The hugest, okay? Lionel Messi in Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia. Ronaldo's going to take the pitch with Portugal on Thursday. He's obviously left Manchester United. Now, my question is, it's probably going to be the last World Cup for these guys. 2 of the greatest soccer players of all time. Are they going to go out, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, without a World Cup victory?
Yes. Neither one of these teams is winning the World Cup. I mean, Argentina can't even beat Saudi Arabia. Now, listen, Saudi Arabia, not trying to come on here on the internet and knock Saudi Arabia, okay? Take me off the list.
Tread lightly, buddy.
Yeah, take me off the list.
Tread lightly.
Aladdin. No, and I hate it for Messi. I hate that they came out and lost. But again, I love upsets. So I thought that was the biggest story of the World Cup.
Oh yeah.
Other than the USA still deciding not to use my plan, everybody's talking about.
Well, that's generations in the making.
It is.
Yeah.
They'll remember. I probably won't even be alive. To
that's some Westworld stuff.
It really is. It really is. I don't think either one. Ronaldo right now, it's such a mess with Man U too. And now I believe it was Man U, the owners came out and said they're going to sell the team, that they're prepared to sell the team.
Something like
that as well.
Yeah.
But this Ronaldo deal, it's, he goes and does an interview and all of a sudden there's like, they're looking at ways to like sue him. And then there's a mutual agreement to part ways, which basically means this would be litigated in court forever and would never be solved. So why don't we just, shake hands, look each other in the eyes, and mutually part ways? But no, neither one of those teams will be winning the World Cup. And unfortunately, neither will the United States or Qatar, though. So ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, don't care.
You care a little bit.
I mean, I'm a Lionel Messi guy. I've always liked Lionel.
I mean, they're the greatest to do it.
I'm a little bit jelly of Ronaldo because he did get to meet Dua Lipa, and that's one of my bucket list things.
Oh, you're a Dua Lipa guy?
Oh, God.
Really?
So hot.
Good for
Dua
you.
Lipa.
But Lionel, man, you got to look through Lionel's just career. You never really had a big problem with him contract-wise.
Yeah, who's it's Lionel.
Look, I'm from the South. Tomato. Y'all screw off. The kid, the guy's 5 foot nothing, out here playing with the big boys, and he's just. I've always respected the way he's carried himself throughout his entire career. So I don't think either of them get a World Cup win. And that's the thing about soccer is just like one guy can't do it. One guy can't win you a World Cup. You have to have a quality team, whether that's the Belgians or England or Germany or whatever. You need at least 3 or 4 guys.
I just never count out the Brazilians.
Or the Brazilians,
That's who I'll pick to win.
It's a bummer. I really wanted one of them to win it, especially Messi, but I don't think either of them do.
Well, I haven't watched a ton of soccer in my life, but I have always heard that, there's been this debate throughout the last decade and a half about Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Is one of them the greatest of all time? And then the question would always come up, can you be the greatest soccer player of all time if you don't win the World Cup?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
How do you feel, Blaine?
I don't know. It's just tough because it's like,
It is
you could be from somewhere where your team's just trash.
That is true.
Just absolute trash. And it's so hard to win a soccer game by yourself.
And it happens once every 4 years.
Yeah, once every 4 years. Like I just don't think like you have to win a World Cup. I don't like equate World Cups with like championships, right? So it's like if you're an NBA player,
event in the sport, though.
if you're an NBA player, all right, like and you win a championship, I don't think that's in the same realm as a World Cup team's going to win a.
Well,
World
basketball and soccer are totally different. But again, I think if I'm going to sit here and judge one sport on championships, and I'm looking at you, how many championships do you win? And I'm looking, it's not like you had one shot at it. It's not like Messi couldn't go in there and say, all right, this is what we're going to have to do to be able to win this World Cup. I need this guy, player coach, Jackie Moon this thing. Do whatever you got to do. But it's Argentina. Let's not act like Argentina doesn't have good soccer players. They're not a pretty good basketball country too as well. Isn't Manu Ginobili from there? Isn't Manu Ginobili Argentina?
Like,
something like that?
Do you ever expect Luka to win one for Slovenia?
No, but
I don't
that is a little
know.
different because Portugal
I don't
and
know.
Argentina are great soccer.
Like, we're not talking about. We're not talking about South
Argentina's
Korea.
fallen off a little bit.
No, we're not talking about
Portugal's still
South Korea. Look, Italy didn't make the World Cup this year, but it's not like Italy's a bad soccer place. Anyway, we've talked enough about soccer. We've already gone.
All right, next one. Booger McFarland.
Yes.
On Zach Wilson, Jets quarterback, saying that he is not able to be held accountable because he grew up wealthy. What was the deal here?
Just say white, Booger.
Well, number one, it's hard for me to take anybody seriously that's going to insult me this name Booger. That's like coming up to me and saying, hey, my name's Buttface and you're ugly. It's hard for me to, really take that seriously. But let's play the clip because I think this is very interesting and I think there's a lesson to be learned from this. Let's play the clip and look at RG3's face while he's talking.
You mentioned one word, accountability. Let's understand who this young man is before we ask him to accept accountability. He's a young man who grew up with a lot of money. I don't think he's ever had to accept accountability. And so now on the biggest stage, we want this quarterback to accept accountability.
That doesn't resonate at all. He's a tough-minded kid. He's come through. Everyone's
never had to
challenge.
He hasn't had to accept the accountability. And so now on the biggest stage, we want this kid to be an adult in front of grown men and accept accountability. It may not feel good, but what I know about it,
he let him down yesterday. That's for sure.
He let him down yesterday, and so I think you have. If you're Robert Saleh, you have to go to him and say, "Hey, listen, I don't know how you are used to doing things, how you grew up, but when you're professional and you go out and perform the way you did, you have to accept accountability. That's the only way that the men in the locker room are going to accept
it's the quarterback's fundamental job.
Yes,
is to bring the team forward, and if he can't do that, that's fundamental to the job."
Okay. here's my thing. Booger McFarland must have known Zach Wilson his whole life. I didn't know that Booger McFarland was Zach Wilson's, mother's midwife. Okay? Here's the problem I have with this. And he didn't bring up race. He didn't say it's because he's a rich white kid or whatever, but I want you to think about this. What if Steve Young had said about, I don't know, quarterback that was struggling who maybe didn't grow up with money? Well, he grew up poor in a bad neighborhood. You can't expect him to accept accountability. Mm-hmm. That person would have gotten fired on the spot. But it's one thing to criticize a personality trait of someone. To say, you know what? That was an arrogant way to handle that press conference. I think he's an arrogant guy. But to pretend like Zach Wilson, who he is, the way he grew up, is just ridiculous. That was such a clown comment from a guy at Booger McFarland that I have a lot of respect for, that knows ball. Like, Booger McFarland knows football. When he starts talking football, it's really good. He kind of stepped out of bounds here, in my opinion. So, because I've known people that have grown up with money that are the most accountable and hardworking people you would ever meet in your life. White, black, blue, green, or yellow, doesn't matter. I know people that are poor, that grew up in bad areas, that blame that for them not having success. I've also known people from poor, bad areas that have grown up and are the hardworking, most accountable people there is. So if you would have just said, I think Zach Wilson is an arrogant, overrated quarterback, you know what, Booger? I may have stood with you. Yeah. But when you start talking about people's upbringings, people have made themselves good and bad out of all sort of upbringings. If Booger McFarland's way of thinking was right, then nobody who ever grew up with money would not be arrogant. Nobody who ever grew up with money. And you know what? It should be a sense of pride. My goal when me and Reed have children is to give them the best life they could possibly have, to give them the nicest things while teaching them good values. That's a compliment. I don't want my kids to grow up in poverty. Like, Booger, stay in your lane, man. Stay in your lane. And you're lucky, you want to talk about race and stuff, you're lucky you don't look a certain way and that you said that about a poor person of color or something like that. Because you would have gotten fired and canceled and raked across the coals. But because Booger looks a certain way, he can say that because Zach Wilson looks a certain way. That's the problem. We should be able to insult people that look, doesn't matter what they look like, because of the decisions they make and the things they say. Not because of their upbringing, whether that's poor or rich. Not because whether they're white, black, or whatever color. Stop using immutable characteristics to define people. Zach Wilson did not come out of the womb and say, I want my money and I want it now. His last name's not Wentworth. So, Booger McFarland, this is a mistake. I feel like you should come out and apologize, but there won't be any accountability because we know the double standard that there is in the media. If you're gonna make fun of people, make fun of everybody. It's like comedians. It's one of the reasons why comedy sucks right now, and guys like Dave Chappelle are trying to save it. Because if you make fun of somebody, make fun of everybody, because that's equality to me.
Well, Booger was 90% right here. I feel like that press conference from Zach Wilson.
And I agree
zero
with
accountability.
That part.
And to be honest, it was the only thing more embarrassing than Zach Wilson's performance on the field.
Yeah.
You can't get up there and say, no, we didn't let our defense down today when you scored 3 points. You have to be up there and get up there and be the quarterback of the franchise, accept accountability and say, no, it's not good enough. What we're doing right now is not good enough, but we're going to fix it. We're still a very good football team, and we're in the hunt, and we're going to be better. So Booger McFarland was right on that account. The 10% he was wrong on, unfortunately, was a very bad 10% to be wrong on, and it's why you just can't go and everybody is an individual, and you have to treat people on an individual basis.
The content of their
just
character.
Assume things based off what someone's upbringing may be.
Yeah, it's laughable to me. Steve Young said it best. That is a characteristic of a good quarterback, is taking accountability. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what you look like, you play the quarterback position. That's the best thing about sports. When that ball snapped, that ball doesn't care how much money your parents had. That ball doesn't care what color you are. That ball doesn't care what neighborhood you came from. You either make the play or you don't make the play. And if you don't make the play, you either take accountability or you don't. Keep it at that. Stop poisoning sports with stuff like this, Booger.
But you just see the difference, right? You can just see the difference When someone looks like that and says that, and if someone would look like me and say that, you'd never be seen on TV again.
No.
Right? You wouldn't get another chance. And let's not all act like that didn't come from a place of skin color. That did. If Zach Wilson was a black kid, that never have been. If Zach Wilson was a black kid with money, that would have never been said.
He didn't bring race into it. I get it, but he didn't.
No. I'm sick of just like beating around the bush and stuff like this. He said that because Zach Wilson's a white kid who grew up with money. That's why he said that. That's exactly why he said that.
You don't think Booger would have said that if
No.
it had been
No.
Michael Jordan's son?
No.
Okay.
I don't. Do you?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
Because I don't want to make his mistake and go assuming what the man would say. I can only
I'm not going to say that either way.
comment on the words he used. You know.
Yeah, I'm not going to go against what I just said as well. All right, one more count and
all right. So college basketball update. Talking about Creighton, Arkansas. We were talking about man. Creighton looked good. They were physical down low, Jake.
Well, they got that monster back that was hurt last year. That was a huge injury, and he's a guy that can do multiple things. And look, Coach McDermott. And he's done a really good job at Creighton. So I coached at, like I said, Iowa Western and Council Bluffs, which is right across the street, basically, from Omaha, where Creighton is located. Creighton is in a great place. The arena they play in is sick. There's a ton of students that go there. It's right by downtown Omaha. And I've always wondered why Creighton didn't have a football team. Like, I feel like if Creighton had a football team, I mean, you got Omaha West and all those high schools right there. And I know Nebraska fans probably wouldn't love that. But I feel like this is a Creighton team that we can actually take serious. Now, when Coach McDermott's son was playing for him, who's, in the NBA, had a really nice NBA career, they were legitimate, but they've kind of been overrated. They'd go to the tournament, not really do that much. Last year, they had that big first-round win. I think this is a legitimate team that we may see have a chance to go to the Final Four if they can stay healthy, just like a lot of teams. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from college basketball right now. And we talk about the transfer portal in football and taking teams that were in that lower class and putting them up to middle class. I think we're seeing that in college basketball too, but I also think you're seeing a lot more parity at the top. But we all know we have the tournament at the end, the greatest postseason sporting event of all time.
Creighton, how far can they go, Blaine?
I think they get a couple wins in the tournament. I don't know. Creighton in this game somewhat scares me. I didn't get to watch much of this game last night because I was just getting disappointed in action.
They looked good, man. They looked physical.
Did they? Well, you beat an Arkansas team that we talked about who's extremely good.
Anthony Black, that freshman that Arkansas has, is for real.
His hair was in front of his eyes the whole time. I was like, how is he even making free throws
How can you see me if I can't see you?
He made some plays down the stretch that kept Arkansas in it, though. When I hear that, Creighton beat Arkansas in an invitational early in the season, my thinking is, Creighton must have gotten really hot and was hitting every shot, and they were hitting a lot of shots. They were going down low in the post.
Yeah.
When they needed a bucket, they were going down low, and they were scoring at will on Arkansas.
Well, that's your run game in football. That's all right. The shots aren't going in. We're going to have to drive and find a way to either score or get to the free throw line, just like in football. It's 3rd and 2. You know we're running it. I know we're running it. Here we go. Can you stop it? That is the run game of football. And Creighton, it's going to be interesting to watch them. And I'm the more I watch, because again, I try and watch it in spots. I tell you what, fellas, UAB is pretty good. Our buddy Andy Kennedy.
Well, they got old boy from
They
LSU.
beat Georgia.
Really?
Well,
Which one?
The kid who's jumping out of the gym,
not
the point
Pinson,
guard.
but the kid that was that young last
I saw
year.
him do something to
Thin,
the other day.
absolute
I'll look it up
alien
right now.
athlete.
Look it up real quick.
I gotta remember his name, but Jelly Walker from UAB. I tell you what, fellas, Andy Kennedy and that UAB team is scary. AK's got him rolling
Really?
there in Birmingham.
haven't
That's
seen
who
them
it is.
yet.
It's Eric Gaines.
Eric Gaines.
Gaines.
That's
This
exactly
dude's
who it was.
Ja Morant jumping.
Yeah.
Floating.
Really?
If he could figure
Skywalker.
it out.
He transferred to UAB?
Yeah.
From LSU, yeah.
From LSU. I mean, he transferred to UAB from LSU.
LSU, yeah.
I know we're going to get this in picks, but look, Creighton on the court tonight again against Arizona. That's
Yes,
another top
great
15 matchup, back-to-back days for them. Tennessee's playing tonight. You got Auburn, Northwestern. Arkansas, San Diego State's going to be another top 17 matchup tonight. I think Arkansas might bounce back and win that one.
I think they
Texas
will.
Tech, Buckeyes tonight.
Texas Tech, Coach Adams, they're the same Texas Tech. They're going to get after you. You want to talk about a pesky defensive team? Watch Texas Tech play.
Always long.
Always long. They always get after you, but effort, unbelievable effort. But, hey, if you're just wanting to bet college basketball or anything like that, we have the perfect place. Y'all know we love the Booster Club, and the Booster Club and DraftKings Sportsbook come together. Like I said, it's like a circle. It never ends. They're the official sports betting partner of the NFL as well as we get closer to the playoffs, already halfway through the season. It's my go-to when I bet on the NFL during the holiday season. Thanksgiving Day, boys, I'm going to be all over DraftKings. Reed's going to get mad at me because I'm not going to look up from my phone because I'm going to be looking at more lines than Matthew McConaughey before he's shooting a movie. You got the Hugh Freeze bobblehead. I love that. Do you love DraftKings? Yep, he does. That's very true. So right now, new customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets. That's 150 free American dollars, okay? I know the economy's bad right now. We're trying to do you a favor. So check this out. Everyone can earn up to a 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. It's another deal. We're just throwing them out left and right. All right, so go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, and combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, point totals, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big. Like you said, Cone, we put these bets on DraftKings every night. So when we win, it's great. When we lose, it's not great. But we wake up and choose violence the next day. But seriously, out of all the sports books, DraftKings is really the best one, guys. I've used all of them. We check all of them all the time. DraftKings does better than anybody else out there. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game, like I said, and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with our code BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. If you're going to draft or make bets, draft or bet like a king.
And if you wake up at 5 a.m. and the one line you're looking for, it happens to not be on there, it's because they're looking out for you.
That's exactly right.
Don't take it. It's a sign. Trust the sign.
Trust the signs. Always trust the signs. Speaking of the signs, Blaine, what are the signs pointing to in the Booster Club?
You know, I really wish when I turned this thing like this, right?
It would turn.
First of all, what appetizer would you like, sir? Or would you like the drinks?
You can make
the
it do that.
screen doesn't flip.
You can make it. It's locked.
Huh?
It's probably locked.
Like, I don't want to go in the Chamber of Secrets.
I thought he was the get off my lawn guy.
It's
Yeah, I
locked.
thought I was the old guy.
I can't, I mean, there's a
you're like
case on it.
13. How can you not know this?
There's like, first of all, I'm like 3 years younger than you. Calm down.
Okay, well, I'm 16.
Let's go to Lincoln Meltz with a $5 dono. Says, would you rather be the head coach of Nebraska or Auburn? Only twist, Auburn boosters hate you despite getting to the SEC championship in your first year.
I don't know how they hate me after getting the SEC championship, but I'll play your little game. Auburn, just because I think you have a better chance to win there at Nebraska. And Tom Lingenbolt brought up a great point. We had him on a month ago. God, season's going by so fast. Where he talked about the proximity to home with athletes in Nebraska. Like the average Houston signing class, the average distance away from home is like 32 miles. Nebraska's like 500 miles. But that's why you have to get a guy in there, like a Deion Sanders. I think Nebraska needs somebody that distance doesn't matter anymore.
Bring sexy back.
You got to bring sexy back. You got to Justin Timberlake this thing. But I would rather be the head coach at Auburn than Nebraska. Now, if Nebraska was in the Big 12, I think that would be a little bit of a different discussion. I do think it would be a little bit of a different discussion. But since we're in the Big 10, which to me, it still feels weird. It doesn't just feel right.
Old man's conference.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right. But I would take Auburn. It's a good question.
Old man's conference.
Yeah, let's go to Jordan Kilgo. Will go Kilgo. I had a $5 donation. I said that I can't hate Alabama because I'm married to a Bama fan, but Georgia could never play another game in anything, and I wouldn't care. War damn Eagle.
Yeah, look, I'm marrying one in May, and marrying one in May. But you know what? Well, look, I have nothing to say. I mean, she's an Alabama fan from Tuscaloosa.
I married one too.
Yeah,
and I got your save the date.
You did,
It's
and
on
you
the
texted me
fridge.
last night, and Reed wanted me to tell you that was very sweet of you. And also, shout out Miss Trudy and Miss Sherry.
Dude, I got pumped. Darby Lou opened the mail, and I come in and the
Pretty good
on
picture,
the fridge is a save the
Pretty
date.
good
I'm like,
picture.
Did I get
is
one?
that my boy Jake right there?
Did I get one?
Yeah, it's actually mailed to your apartment. But when's the last time you checked your mail?
They bring my mail to me.
They do?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Belvedere.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you know.
Golly, why don't you have
Lived
some
in the
accountability, you
forces.
rich kid?
Yeah, why don't you have a little accountability, Zach?
Because I'm white, huh?
WHIT.
Let's go to Justin Decker. We're talking lower. Woke up to a parlay hitting.
Yes.
Blaine suck it. What did I do? What did I do? Yes. You're always against me, Justin. I don't know why.
That was
I
so
don't
good.
know why. We'll
There's
figure it
nothing better than waking up to. Give you an example. Yesterday in my bed, shout out DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code Booster. Double ad read. So I had the college basketball parlay bet as my second one, right? It's a 5-teamer. First 4 hit. UC Davis is playing at 9:30. I'm like, all right, I'm going to stay up and watch this.
No, you're
Write the monologue, get in bed, wake up at 4:15 in the morning like,
Yeah.
you know? And then look, I'm like, please hit. UC Davis won by like
There you
9.
go.
I'm like, yes. It's like one day look at Belo and say, he never get this. He never get this.
One
One
day,
day Belo break
Get
it,
this.
and he get this.
What do you get?
I get to Dolph Steph.
UC Davis win.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened to me with fantasy football.
Stop trying to goat me into saying things.
So
Because one day it may just work.
Yeah, see, Justin, you know why you hit that? Because you probably did more research.
He said plain suck it.
That's why. It says after Sunday has to go back to the locker room, make some adjustments, and won the second half like a champion.
That's what, look.
Research and adjustments.
Life's
That's
a game
what
of
the great
adjustments.
ones do.
Life is a game of adjustment.
AKA John Brinkus.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Jordan Kilgo again with the $5. Jordan, really appreciate you giving us your money.
Thank you.
One good thing about Alabama fans is that they save their employers money because they don't need dental insurance. Chill out.
I will say I did
Bama
say
fans do have those UK.
I did see a funny one yesterday. Somebody said about their rival that they won't be able to have ice at the game because the one person who knows the recipe's out with the flu. I thought that was
The ice
good.
recipe?
Jordan, thanks for that. By the way, if you're gonna donate and you're not a member of Daily Wire Plus, go ahead and just, instead of donating on YouTube, go ahead and just get a Daily Wire Plus membership. We're already over 1 million subscribers. Look, we're riding high. We're on top of the wave. We want to get to 1 trillion subscribers. Is there 1 trillion
Just a
people
trillion?
on the planet?
Just
Is there
a
1 trillion people on the planet?
No, but why do the people who are on the planet only get one Daily Wire membership? They can get
with you.
multiples.
I'm with you.
So
Why not?
it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Let's go to Tyler Jarvis with a $10 dono. Thank y'all for bringing back the sports talk show. I'm a teacher on Thanksgiving break, and I'm waking up early just to watch y'all.
Nice.
Happy Thanksgiving. P.S. Homemade cranberry sauce is delicious. Let's
Wow,
go, Tyler.
you know what? Just for
Let's
that
go,
nice
Tyler.
message.
Here's what I'll
The
say.
real ones now.
I've never had homemade cranberry sauce.
Delicious.
All I've gotten is that magenta flubber that comes out of that can. Okay? Hey, you put
Flubber.
your hands
Magenta
down.
flubber.
That creature that
It's
comes
so good.
crawling out of that can on Thanksgiving. But in all reality, Tyler, appreciate you, man. What you guys do is very important, obviously, as teachers as well, because we need it. Because half the kids nowadays can't even do math, but they can go find where somebody is in Call of Duty.
I
Which,
blame-
I don't know, the way it's going, that may be worth more here.
I
in a couple of
blame
years.
Fauci. All right, let's go. Angelo DeRayman with a $6 dono. Says, can we get a shout out for the best high school Turkey Day rivalry in the country? Eastern Pennsylvania versus Phillipsburg, New Jersey.
Ooh.
Go Rovers.
Go Rovers!
We're
Hey,
roving.
Rovers Wade. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go Rovers.
All right, James
Red
Stalling,
Rover.
$2 donation. Auburn looked good against Bradley. It was Bradley, though.
Well, it's one guy.
Yeah,
You better beat
One
him.
guy.
All right, let's go.
I will say, though, Trey Orr. Ooh.
You guys feeling good
He's
about
gonna
Auburn
be a
basketball
good-
right now?
Look, the shootings, can we hit threes? That's what it's going to come down to. In Bruce Pearl's offense, that's what it's going to come down to. We can say all these things. We can talk about plays. We can talk about out-of-bounds plays. And you don't got to worry about effort with Bruce Pearl. Are we hitting threes and is Wendell shooting from half court or not? That's the question. That's what it's going to come down to.
You have a new Walker Kessler down there?
Dude, Johnny Broom
Yeah?
sweeping up the competition.
Johnny Broom.
Yeah, Murray State transfer. Just got to stay healthy. Pretty good. We'll see, though. Tell you what, Brandon Miller from Alabama is pretty nice. He's nice. Little Paul George comp. He's pretty nice. Hunter Johnson, I know
PG
he's just
comp?
freaking out.
You gave him a PG comp?
That's what the scouts are saying. We'll see. They said J.D. Davidson was going to be the best point guard ever of all time, and I mean, he couldn't dribble his way out of a conversation.
He wasn't.
No. You talk about turnovers? You think Spencer Rattler turns the ball over?
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
All right,
J.D. Davidson handed the ball off more than A.J. McCarron.
All right,
Which
let's
AJ's
go. God, I thought you were going to say
buddy
Blake
mine.
Sims.
Huh? No, Blake Sims.
AJ out there slinging.
No,
it.
AJ could sling it, but they also turned around and said, Downset Hut, we're just going to run it down your throat.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at the running backs they had. All right, the Flaming Dragon says Nebraska sucks anyway. I agree.
Are we getting anybody to say anything nice about the rival in there, or is it all just hate?
It's hate, as it should be. Dr. Brooke says hopefully Devin Hester makes it into the Hall of Fame this year.
Greatest returner of all time. Greatest returner of all time.
He is.
I tell you what, though, Cordero Patterson,
He up there.
up at nine kickoff
TD
return for a
kickoff
touchdown.
returns? Yeah.
Which it still blows my mind that the Patriots, that walk-off punt return was the first punt return for a touchdown of the NFL season.
Yeah, that was wild.
I blame officials.
On that front, a couple NFL quick
Let's
hits
get
right
to
here.
it. Let's get to
Darrelle Revis among first-year eligible Hall of Fame semifinalists.
You got to put him in there. You talk. Nobody's been more comfortable on an island since Tom Hanks and Castaway in month 4. Darrelle Revis, I even remember him from Pittsburgh, man. And you look at him, and he wasn't built like a long shutdown corner that can extend the hands. He was kind of more box body. You talk about great laterally, great in press, but instincts. What made Darrell was instinctually his IQ of the game, but feel. And we talk about feel with quarterbacks, and we talk about chemistry and timing, but to understand what you're getting from the receiver, I don't think anybody was better that I can remember in my lifetime of watching than being able to play zone and go Q to 2 while having feel for that number 1 wide receiver you're on.
Explain Q to 2.
Okay, so in zone coverage, obviously in man coverage with the corner, your eyes are on your man, okay? Now, you can have match coverage where, hey, he goes in, I'm telling the nickel, or if the safeties roll down inside, hey, we're going to switch this thing. We just can't be on the same level so we don't rub each other and they can pick us, which you see happen all the time. Well, in zone, if I'm a corner, I'm looking Q to 2. So if I'm looking through the number 2 wide receiver, because, again, if I'm running cut coverage out of quarters where, one's running the vertical, but if number 2 runs an out underneath 5 yards, I'm going to let the safety take the vertical. We just call it cut, and I'm going to cut underneath. It's almost like a trap a little bit, like trap coverage a little bit, but you do it out of quarters. Your eyes don't go till number 1 until they have to. There's an old saying, it is zone until it's man. It's zone until it's man. But being able to look through the quarterback and break on that slant by number 1, or realize you can jump the out of number 2, it's an art form while still being able to keep your leverage, right? So I'm in quarters. I'm the corner. I am inside leverage of number 1. In cover 2, I'm outside leverage because I want to funnel them to the safety. We're going to go over that and huddle up at some point. But I'm inside leverage. I used to have my guys at 6 yards off. Some guys would have them at 7 yards off. And I am working back while keeping my eyes Q to 2 so I can see that if I need to jump it, or if I need to jump the hitch, or if I need to jump the slant, but also staying inside leverage in case I get the vert, in case I get the post. There's an art form to it, and it takes feel and instinct. And I think that's what Darrell was better at than anybody. He never looked out of position, and he never looked out of place. And I think that's the biggest compliment that you can give a corner. And I don't even feel like he had to guess. I feel like he was so natural reacting on the ball. And how many false steps did you ever see him take when he was getting out of breaks? He never had any wasted movement, like any great player, like any great linebacker. It was so much fun to watch him play, especially being a defensive guy and a DB guy like that.
He'll be a Hall of Famer. And Revis Island, I think we're doing some cross-promotional events with
7-Footer Island. Nice.
Yeah, a lot of cross-promotional stuff.
Should have a gala.
Yeah, we may. We're talking about it. Kyle Pitts on the IR now. Like, guys,
are you going to say it, or am I going to say it? Are you going to say it, or am I going to say it?
I mean, I'll ask the question as nicely as I can. What does he have to do moving forward to not be a bust?
Play better.
Get out of Atlanta, maybe?
Don't play for the Falcons. They play better.
Is it just
what do you mean?
The Falcons don't throw him the ball. He's open. They don't throw him the ball.
So the Falcons, who are having a better year than what a lot of people have thought, it's amazing how everybody else is playing well, but Kyle Pitts just isn't playing well. Yes, it's on Kyle Pitts. Yes, it's only Kyle Pitts.
He's not even on the field in the red zone sometimes.
I mean, there's a reason for that. Do you think if Kyle Pitts was who they thought he was, they would take him? They would take him out on the red zone. Do you think? You think Arthur Smith is that stupid?
What has he shown you to not be the guy?
Exactly nothing.
Because they don't throw him the ball. Even the coach came out and says they don't throw him the ball enough. They don't. First of all, they're a running team. That's
true.
They take him out in the red zone. He has just as separation. If you go look at Kyle Pitts, they did a breakdown the other day. He has just as separation as the best tight ends. Marcus Mariota doesn't throw this man the ball. And it's surprising because Marcus Mariota's, throughout his career, his number 1 target has been a tight end. Then he gets to Atlanta, and they don't throw him the ball. If you're going to draft Kyle Pitts, where you drafted him, and not throw him the ball, you're wasting this man's career.
Okay. The answer's somewhere in the middle. You can't just totally write off and say, you know what, it's not Kyle Pitts' fault. I've watched Kyle Pitts drop balls. I've watched Kyle Pitts get locked up. The answer's somewhere in the middle. You can't come out in a blanket statement, Kyle Pitts, play better. The Falcons, get in the ball more. The answer's somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's binary of, okay, well, it's either Kyle Pitts is 100% total bust, or the Falcons are the dumbest people on the planet for not giving him the ball. You got a better argument the Falcons were the dumbest people on the planet for not running the ball in the second half of the Super Bowl. I'll be with you on that, but the answer's somewhere in the middle. Kyle Pitts has to play better. And if I'm Kyle Pitts and you're not throwing me the ball, I'm going in there, meeting with the head coach, meeting with the OC, saying, why am I not getting the ball? I'm going to the film. Look at how open I am. Why am I not getting the ball? Give me the ball and I'll make plays. It's on both of them. It's on both of them. And Kyle Pitts, we know, is a red zone nightmare. More than anything, right? He's way more effective in the red zone than he's going to be probably between the 20s in most cases. But if he's not out there on the field, and let's not act, if the Falcons were 1-7, then I could see that. I could see it. But the Falcons are in contention. The Falcons are playing well. And I've seen teams that can run the ball that also have elite receivers that make plays, or elite guys playing the wide that can make plays. So just because you're a running team doesn't take away all accountability from the receivers. I think the answer is somewhere in the middle.
Is there a comparison to be made between his former Florida teammate, Kadarius Toney? Or wasn't really working in New York. Now he's with the Chiefs. Looks like he may be able to do something for Andy Reid's offense there. Do you think if Kyle Pitts were with a different franchise who valued tight ends more?
Well, I think if Kyle Pitts was with the Chiefs, I mean, the Chiefs are the best at using the pawns that they have in the entire National Football.
So do you think Kadarius Toney going from the Giants, the Chiefs is the only destination where he was going to be used, or are there a lot of other places?
I think it was the best destination. And I'm not talking about used. I'm looking at success rate, like which I know those go hand in hand, but where he can be a better fit maybe in the offense is what you're saying. Look, anytime you have a team that is truly balanced or about as close to truly balanced as you can be, or maybe a team that is more passing heavy than they are run heavy, obviously that's going to be more conducive to a wide receiver and even a tight end in places like that. I think if Travis Kelce was with the Falcons, it'd be a whole hell of a lot different than if he was with the Chiefs. And I think there's multiple teams. But if I'm a team like, say, I don't know, the Giants, or if I'm a team that going forward maybe looking to make a move or do some things to add Kyle Pitts, he is a formidable weapon to add. Now, if I'm the Falcons, and I know I'm not winning the Super Bowl this year, and you're probably going to do well enough where you're not going to have a high draft pick, maybe moving Kyle Pitts to get that high draft pick to get, I don't know, Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or that next quarterback. Because Marcus, I think there's decent trade value for Marcus as well, or he'd be a hell of a backup to have. He's already shown you can go in there and steer the ship. So there's multiple ways to look at it. But when it comes down to Kyle Pitts, I do think he needs to be in more of an offense that is conducive to his skill set, that isn't as much of a run-heavy team as the Falcons are, but that doesn't take away all accountability for his gameplay.
How about the Packers?
For that.
That's what I would say.
A big body possession
Why
guy
not?
for
The
Aaron
Packers.
Rodgers.
The Packers.
I know.
They're not
But,
gonna do
you would
that.
think about someone like the Titans who run the ball so much and utilize these tight ends. But when Kyle Pitts was coming out, we said, well, he's basically a wide receiver.
He's a wide receiver.
And when you're not able to really block in that run game as effectively as some block-only tight ends, it sort of is this like Jimmy Graham type area to me, right? Where it's like, is he a wide receiver? Is he a true tight end?
He's not a bad blocker.
Do what?
He's not a bad blocker.
He's not a bad blocker, but
he's
if
not a
you're
guy
team
you want
like the
going on
Titans,
split zone and sealing the end every time. That's not
But he
the guy.
can.
where you win so much off play action. Whereas a team like the Packers, to me, he could be a big body possession guy, and you could split him out just as frequently as you have him on the line.
Yeah, it's like there's a big difference between Cole Kmet and Kyle Pitts and what you want to do, talking about split zone and things like that in the interior, which leads to those play actions that we see off of split zone, the waggles in the boots, the overs, the slam and slides, the screen backside. So I do think Kyle Pitts is more in that receiver vein, and he needs to start making his stamp on a team. And you need to remember this holiday season, you trade late nights for silent nights, and get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up at Stamps.com/booster. Do you see a theme here with Booster? We're trying to make it easy for you. For a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com/booster. And I mean, right about now, Cone, we got seasonal excitement or dread, depending on how your in-laws or family goes down. Just bring up politics. I'm sure it won't go wrong. It's starting to settle in. It's not too late to get your holiday mailing and shipping under control. Control it. Guy like me, not a huge mailer of things outside of email. That's where I do most of my mailing. But went ahead, got my order from Stamps.com. Reed has used this, I think, twice, to be honest with you. Once for her, and then sent her mom to be able to use it, be able to ship things off. We have family all over the country, especially when you coach. I have friends all over the country, so I got to make sure and get my stamp game up. Plus, I like cool-looking stamps.
Look.
I'm not going to lie. I don't want to send some average stamp. I don't want my stamp game to be bad. I want my stamp game on fleek. All right? I want to put my stamp game on fleek. Maybe it's Ben Franklin with some cool sunglasses on. I don't know. Maybe it's a turkey holding up a fork and a knife, really playing against its own narrative there. So that's Stamps.com. all right, /booster. Go check it out. You get that 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. You're welcome, America.
I mean, I have a 1-year-old, which means the grandparents are always getting him gifts, which means we have to mail a lot of thank you cards.
Yes.
Which, by the way, we
just didn't save the dates.
We sent you guys one for the T-ball set that you
Tell
got.
people
Adam.
what I got, Ace.
Man, this guy right here got my son his first T-ball set.
Like legit now, not some fake. This
thing will last him. How many swings do you think he could take?
A million. It's the hard rubber one with the hard rubber plate, which you can hit aluminum bat off of it. I wasn't gonna get you some like little play one that he's gonna grow out of. No. Like I want one when he's 15. He's saying, "Uncle Jake, I'm still in here grinding. Wow, I'm going the other way a lot."
It seems like the exact model that Bryce Harper was hitting off of when he was 5.
It's my plan.
You know what I mean? And you got the little the rubber balls too, so that he can hit those in the backyard. He's already playing with those.
Good.
Already playing with those.
We saw him yesterday on the FaceTime. He's getting long, David.
He's big.
I can see his neck now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you're a baby, like they're like this, you can't see his neck. Now I'm looking at him, and he's got a neck.
It's about chore time. Got to do some chores.
Good. I heard he's about to get a full-time job.
Yeah.
Good for you.
He's going to work for Blaine on 7-Footer Island.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Maybe Booger McFarland. Booger McFarland won't make fun of his upbringing.
How would you put Ace to work?
What would his job be?
That's a great question. Whatever he wanted.
No, he needs some discipline.
Not on the island. He doesn't get discipline on the island.
He's with Uncle Blaine now?
There's no discipline on the island?
No, he can do whatever he wants. Doesn't matter.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Blaine, you're totally that cool uncle.
For sure, I try to be. A booster club?
Yes.
One thing we'll say about Kyle Pitts, he did have over 1,000 yards last year.
That's a lot.
110 receptions, 1 touchdown in the red zone. That's all in coaching.
Paid to score touchdown.
Emmanuel C., $10 donation. Appreciate it, E-Man. He says, Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT of sports. Not only on the pitch, but he's the first person to reach 500 million followers on Instagram. And he once tanked Coca-Cola stock by saying, drink water. #legendary.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. They said the most famous cricket player in the world dwarfs LeBron James followers.
Really?
Like it's not even close.
Seriously?
Yes.
I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is the only athlete I know of to escape the Kardashian curse. I mean, Devin Booker is a little bit right now, but we'll see.
He's like that. Well, hold on now. Maybe he's the person. Maybe Cristiano was the person they let get away to tell the story of what happened. Mm-hmm. You know, like in 300, they send the guy with one eye back.
They always leave one.
They always leave one to tell the
story. Golly, I didn't even think about that.
Cristiano was what happened. To tell the story.
Yeah.
Greg Hart, $5 donation, says, you guys got a copyright strike from FIFA yesterday. Time to stop talking about soccer forever.
Copyright strike from FIFA?
We got a copyright strike?
He said, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, they're on it right now. About
wait. Is that true?
I hope
I just got my ear.
So you can't even talk about soccer.
So now it's dead forever. Just like hockey.
Oh, it just blocks the footage?
That's a great way.
Oh my gosh, we're trying to grow y'all's stupid game.
That's a great way to help Americans love soccer.
Yeah, God, y'all are the worst.
Tennis did the same thing. Remember we showed the doll shot?
No wonder y'all need help in every world war. Can't do it yourselves, clowns.
Golly.
All right, let's go to...
Let's not help them this time. Y'all figure it out. Y'all start all the wars. Y'all figure it out. We can't play FIFA clips. We can't do that. Y'all figure it out. Now the suits are messed up.
You good over there?
Yeah.
Baby Sora's dad says, hey, Cone, what do you think about... Oh, God.
Oh, no. Can you read it?
Samersil?
Oh, no.
Playing both ways this Saturday against the Suckeyes?
Playing both ways? I don't know.
Is that his name?
Sandersill, yeah. DB.
Not bad.
Not bad. Let's be honest. I
didn't know which way that was going.
Look, #1 scoring defense in the country right now, but a lot of people are saying, okay, well, Michigan didn't have a great strength of schedule at the beginning of the year. Throughout the entirety of the Big Ten schedule so far, though, this defense has gotten better every single week. I've been very proud of this defense, especially the secondary holding strong. That freshman, like I was telling you guys, it's not fair to go ask someone like Will Johnson, a freshman, to go guard Marvin Harrison Jr. and some of these wide receivers that the Buckeyes are going to have. But that's why they put 5 stars by your name.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
to the plate. Now, and I was saying this on the show that I went on yesterday that we were talking about, Jake. I think Michigan will have a few pass interference calls in the game. Just because, like I said, it's a young secondary. You're trying to stop these world beaters with the Buckeyes. You can withstand a couple pass interference calls. What I want them to not do Don't hold on the offensive line, and no false start penalties being on the road. Because if the offense is starting 1st and 15 and 1st and 20 with a run-first identity, that's where Michigan's going to get in trouble.
Yeah, it's the weather. You got a weather update? Does it still look like it's going to be nasty?
Sounds like it's going to rain. It was sub-freezing. Now it sounds like it's going to be over-freezing. But what I've been telling these guys, you cannot be hoping and praying that the weather's bad. You need to go in and beat this team no matter what the weather's like. I don't care where you play them, when you play them. You go in and you beat your biggest rival.
They can't, but you can.
I can.
All right, let's get to Egg Bowl keys to victory.
Egg Bowl keys to victory. This is the game tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I look, let's take all the distraction about Lane Kiffin away from it. And the only thing I'll say is I would not be surprised if either one of these coaches or both of them were not at the place they're at right now.
Really? Mike Leach too?
I think there's a chance Mike Leach could retire. I think there's a chance Mike Leach.
Please no. This guy's
well, no, that means he can come on here all the time.
That's true too.
We'll have Mike on every day. We'll bring him on every day. Okay, so we're not going to talk about Lane Kiffin stuff. Let's talk about on-the-field football stuff. That's what the Mississippi State, Ole Miss fans, and college football and world in general want to hear. For Ole Miss, Jackson Dart, I'm going to say this again. You have got to see defenders in the intermediate passing game. You can see the safeties. You can see the D-line. But it's like there's camouflage on everybody in the middle of the field. That is where a lot of his turnovers happen. You know they're going to be able to run the ball. Mississippi State loves Zach Arnett, their DC. Struggled a little bit more defensively this year than I thought they would. Ole Miss is going to be able to run the ball. Can Jackson Dart not turn the ball over on play actions or on the quick game and intermediate passing game? If he doesn't do that, Ole Miss wins. If he turns it over and he gives Will Rogers and them chances, and I'm going to get to Mississippi State in a second, Mississippi State can Counting Crows this thing and hang around on the corner until the end with a chance to win. And we've seen crazy endings in Egg Bowls. Don't even get me started. Elijah Moore. You've seen guys. I saw a situation in this game where every player on both teams got a personal foul at once. At once. Everybody. Not one, the whole group. You, them, everybody got a personal foul. So you let him hang around at the end, it could get really weird. But it's Jackson Dart, seeing linebackers, seeing down safeties, seeing nickels in the intermediate passing game. Ole Miss fans know exactly what I'm talking about. We've been saying that since week 3. Now, to Mississippi State, you have, on that same vein, you have got to find a way to make Ole Miss dribble with their left. If you're going to let them get up there and run zone read and RPOs and be looking 9 different ways, they are going to bulldoze you up and down the field. They're going to sit back and dare Mike Leach to run the ball, and Mississippi State's not going to be able to do it, okay? And I'm not going to use the key to victory of Mississippi State, don't get greedy. You never go broke making a profit. They did a little bit at the beginning of the year, but they have not done it in the back half. So if you're Zach Arnett, you have got to do everything in your capability to try and make Ole Miss dribble with their left. Does that mean loading the box? Yeah. Does that mean doing a bunch of run stunts? No. Run stunting is good every now and then, but if your whole game plan is based off slanting and running tons and Texas in the run game and doing things, they're going to catch you eventually, especially when there's reads off of things. It's one thing if I'm lining up in the eye and running the power and you run a run stunt. It's another thing if I'm running basically the triple option RPO where I can read where you guys are mid-play and make the right decision because there's 3 options. Give it, hand it, throw it. So Zach Arnett has got to find a way, and I know that's a lot easier said than done, and he's probably in there putting liquid paper on a bee, mixing chemicals, trying to shoot signals into the sky to figure this out. But to me, I'm loading the box. You got to prove it to me. Jonathan Mingo, if anybody's going to kick my ass, it's going to be you, but I'm not going down because you ran it down my throat.
Blaine, Ole Miss lost 3 of their last 4. Mississippi State's lost 3 of their last 5. The game's in Oxford. Who you got?
Did you say good?
No. Yes, I did. I like Mississippi State in this game.
Pirate, huh?
I do. I don't believe in Jackson Dart enough. If I'm Mississippi State, it's the same thing Jake said. What am I doing? Quinshon Junkins, you're the guy I have to stop in this game to win. They're averaging over 200 yards rushing per game, which is an insane stat, realistically, if you think about it. So if I'm Mississippi State, I'm doing what? Loading the box. Jonathan Mingo, if you like to beat me, please, I'll tip my cap. We'll take our stuff and go home. If I'm Mississippi State, you got to trust in what? Trust in your quarterback, Will Rogers, one of the best in the SEC. I still think
run the ball.
I still think that, and they have been running
Ole
the ball.
Miss can't stop the run.
They have been running the ball more than they ever have.
Yeah, but it's still not enough.
That's not Mike Leach. That's not who Mike Leach is. And if you think Mike Leach is going to change in his career now,
No.
I promise you, buddy, he's not. So, Mike, stick to your guns. Do mix it up a little bit. They have to honor it. Ole Miss has to honor it somewhat. But I like Mississippi State in this game. I think Will Rogers has a big day. Jackson Dart throws key interceptions at key moments, and State's the winner of the Egg Bowl.
You think so? All right. Well, if you want to watch the rest of this, we got Get Off My Lawn coming up, so you don't go anywhere. You stay on your lawn, okay? If you want to watch the rest of this, go to the Daily Wire Plus. If you want to listen to it, you can stick here. Remember that. But if you don't have a membership of the Daily Wire Plus, just do it. Like I said, we went over a million members. This thing's growing like a weed. Or you can listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with all your friends. And maybe your upbringing won't be made fun of by guys named Booger and Buttface and Mucus. We'll be right back. All right, so every Wednesday, one of our favorite segments involves our 6'7", 34-year-old that's really trapped in a 75-year-old's body, the old curmudgeon himself, straight Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino. Segment called Get Off My Lawn. David Cohn, who are you screaming at to get off your lawn today?
To those who don't consider college football rivalries the greatest in sports, get off my lawn. Today I'm going to share a story. On Thursday afternoon, November 16th, 2006, Coach Bo Schembechler addressed the Michigan football team within the hall that bears his name to this day. He didn't speak to the team often, but this was no ordinary Thursday. The Wolverines were undefeated, ranked number 2 in the country, and were 48 hours from facing off against their greatest rivals, the number 1 ranked Buckeyes. No one present that afternoon knew they were listening to Coach Bo's final speech, but that was the case. Less than 24 hours later, he died of heart failure. I was incredibly fortunate to be a freshman on that Michigan team. I don't remember Coach bringing up our quest for a national championship, nor making mention of the team down south. Instead, he made clear his expectations for us as Michigan men, reminding each player that our team's greatness would ultimately be determined by the quality of husbands and fathers we go on to become. The news of Coach's death the following morning spread swiftly, and the Buckeyes, for their part, held a vigil in his honor and offered to postpone the pending contest, a true testament to just how much respect exists in this oftentimes vitriolic feud. Coach Lloyd Carr graciously declined the offer, and the stage was set in the horseshoe under the lights for the first and only number 1 versus number 2 matchup in the history of the rivalry. After a 60-minute shootout for the ages, Ohio prevailed, 42-39. 16 years later, the stakes are just as high. Unbeaten Michigan, ranked number 3 in the nation, heads to Columbus to battle number 2 Ohio, also undefeated. All that's on the line is everything. The division, the conference, the college football playoff, and possibly the Heisman Trophy. And this is just one of many great matchups we get this week and throughout football season. The Iron Bowl, the Egg Bowl, the Red River Shootout. We play for golden hats and little brown jugs and even giant Paul Bunyan statues. It's quite fitting that Rivalry Week falls on Thanksgiving because we should never take it for granted. And remember, great rivalries cannot survive on hate alone, for without respect, they fall apart. Go Blue.
Yeah, Dave.
Gas. That was
Dave.
well done, sir.
This is the
well
best
done,
week,
sir.
boys.
It is the best week. Let's be honest. There's nothing like college football rivalries. Let's just be for real. Okay, NFL, I love the NFL. There's some great rivalries, traditions, and stuff like that. But it's not even close. I don't think it's even remotely close. And I, to sum up what you said about, his speech, again, we talk about football, and coaches tell this players this all the time. Football is a great teacher, and sports in general are a great teacher of life, especially team sports. That's what it's really meant for. Because, I mean, you have coaches that say, I'm not going to judge you on how many touchdowns you scored, or how many rushing yards you have, or how many tackles you made. I'm going to judge you on how good of a husband you are. I'm going to judge you on how good of a wife you are, how good of a father, how good of a mother, how good of a grandfather, how good of a provider you are. How do you respond when it's not going good? Anybody can get excited when it's going good. Who's the people that can get excited and turn it around or fight through that adversity when it's not going good? That's what football teaches you. Coach Dye used to tell my dad and the team this all the time. I don't run you in the summer and roll you in the winter and get you up and make you go through 4 days so we can go out there and win the SEC. I do it so when you have a wife and kids and a mortgage and a car payment and an electric bill and things you have to do, and that alarm clock rings at 6 in the morning, you get your ass up and go to work.
There you go.
Because that is what defines success, in my opinion. And you know, talk about stress. I mean, you know, your team loses. That's tough. You got to go deal with it at work. That's not stress. That's not worry. Stress is when you don't have money to put Christmas presents under the Christmas tree for your kids. That's stress. That's the difference. And I thought that was fantastic. Such a great way to put it, David. All right, Blaine, let's get to the Booster Club, and I'm going to walk over here to the Board of Extreme Truth, Justice, Non-Ideologues, and Friendship, and Life, Love, and the Vin.
All right, let's go to JMJ Pray For Us, hashtag Booster Club. Love soccer. They can't not talk about it with the World Cup going on. They are a true sports show. Wow.
That is true. But stop striking us down.
Let's go to, God, who was it? I believe it was Justin. It was either Travis Oron or Justin, but he wanted to know, for me and you, Cone, was it easier to read zone or man coverage? And for me, was it easier to run routes against zone or man coverage? What was it for you?
Well, a lot of these teams now, they do so much pre-snap motion. Jake's exactly right. That's a lot. And when we broke down the huddle play with Georgia against Tennessee, remember we had right wing U return. He kicked that motion, so Brock Bowers is in motion so he can identify man or zone. Now, it's a little tougher in that scenario, Jake, because like you said, they were passing them off. But still, quarterbacks are taught to read that. You know, we were always taught that never trust corners. Corners lie to you.
Yeah, they are.
You know, corners lie to you. They'll show man coverage, but really they'll be dropping back in zone. Reading zone or man wasn't as difficult as just making the play, like making the right play at the right time and trying to get that pre-snap and then more importantly, the post-snap read. What were you thinking on the wide receiver side of things?
Well, it's tough. I'd rather see zone because I'm a lot better diagnosing the coverage and where I need to sit. I had a good football feel. My IQ was high. But when it comes to man coverage, it just depends on the man. Right? If I'm better than him, I'd rather than run man all day. But if it's a long 6'2", 6'3" corner who's just long as hell and plays press coverage, probably not going to have a great time unless we get in from the 15 in and we just start throwing fade balls. It's my best asset. You know, I was kind of a big, lanky guy. I was quick, but not fast. Right? I could get 5 to 7 yards pretty quick, but if you want me to run 25 plus, you know, I ran my 40 in forever. So that's what it's
long strider. It's just long strider.
Well, and it's a good question that he asked both because it's not only being able, like, if I identify that it's man coverage, I still need you to do the same because you need to stay on the move in man. Now, if it's zone, I need you to sit down in that hole in zone. And so both of us need to do that and be on the same page where the windows are.
It's funny you say that. I used to tell our DBs all the time, listen, if we're communicating a coverage or we put a call in and you communicate it wrong to everybody.
Sure.
Because if we're all wrong, we're all right.
Sure.
Like that's the thing. If we're going to be wrong, let's all be wrong together because we're sound. At least we're running something that is close to sound. It's when one guy's doing this and another guy's doing that, that's where you have the busted coverage. Or you're seeing man, he's seeing zone, he sits it down, you let it fly right into the safety's hands, which we see a lot. If we're all wrong, we're all right.
And it looks like the quarterback threw it right to him, right?
That's exactly
he threw it right
this
to him.
Sucks.
When really, you know, there's just a miscommunication on, most likely, on zone versus man because so many teams are running read routes now. Hey, read that. You know, we used to call fizz, our fade stop call was fizz, you know, for fade stop. Now all these back shoulder throws, they're reading that.
Yeah.
You know, they're throwing it.
Well, it's everything's an option right now, which makes it harder. If you're good at it, I mean, I watched Tom Brady and Julian Edelman just rip people apart running option routes. Maybe even make Paul Johnson blush. All right, Blaine, a couple more.
All right, let's go to Justin Decker, hashtag Ask the Show. If Auburn gives Alabama a run in Bryant-Denny, does that say more about Auburn or Alabama? Hashtag Bama sucks, War Damn Eagle.
No, I think it has, it's the Iron Bowl.
It says something about the rivalry.
Yeah, it's the Iron Bowl. Again, look at last year's team. Auburn was unbelievably outmatched, should have won the game. One of the reasons why Brian Harsin, who is rich now, is just retweeting Lane Kiffin.
Let's go to J-Chain. Hashtag Ask Blaine. Were you a trash talker when you played?
Yes.
Our silent but deadly.
He was. I'll answer that.
I love talking ish.
Yeah.
Every second. Every second
Blaine,
I could.
it never stopped.
I'm not afraid.
That's a technical foul.
Why are you so good at that? That's weird. Stephen Moore says, I heard Lane Kiffin met with the team to inform them that he's re-signing with Ole Miss.
Okay, no. So he met with a team that basically told him, and this is how it should be handled, that if he was leaving, they would be the first to know. Not the media. The report that he's already out the door was inaccurate. He told them they would be the first to know. He didn't come in there and say, I'm staying.
All right, let's go to, let me get the Daily Wire chat involved here.
Would you get him involved?
Red Baron Aaron says, what rivalry has the most respect for each other? Definitely not UTOU. What rivalry has the most respect?
Well, Auburn
Service academies, hopefully.
Yeah, I would say Army Navy. I would say Army Navy.
You think so?
Has to be, right? I mean, they're fighting on ultimately the same team.
Yes,
at the end of the day.
when it really comes down to it, they know where they stand. Now, you look at rivalries like the game and Auburn, Alabama, and some of these where you don't see fights on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you see fights on the field, South Carolina, Clemson, stuff like that. And that's not a knock. There's a lot of vitriol. But a lot of these guys in these rivalry games grew up playing against each other.
Yes.
A lot of them played in the same state.
Yeah.
Y'all know each other. There's nobody taking off their helmet and trying to hit somebody with them. It's a respect thing. That's why you don't ever see fights. That, to me, is what a true respectful rivalry is. They can also have hate.
And there are different ways to respect. I mean, you talk about one of the most famous lines in the Michigan-Ohio rivalry when Woody Hayes said, they asked him, why did you go for 2 at the end of the game when you were up by a lot? And he said, because I couldn't go for 3. This is against a Michigan team who Bo Schembechler coached on his staff. Bo Schembechler's a pallbearer at this guy's funeral. That didn't stop them because that was the mindset. I'm going to beat you as badly as humanly possible. And then in the offseason, I'll call you once a week and we'll check in on each other. I'll ask about your kids. Having respect doesn't mean that you're not trying to do everything in your power to win the football game. And I had a buddy of mine who was our academic advisor there. His grandfather was a huge Buckeyes fan, big Woody Hayes fan. And when Bo Schembechler took the Michigan job, he told his grandson, who was a Michigan fan at that time, he said, don't worry, you guys got an Ohio guy. You'll be fine.
I like that. All right, let me hit the leaderboard real quick. Oh, no. Did Johnson TC, who is 9-0, lose last night?
The streak ended?
Did you hit him? Okay, he needs to be serenaded. Will you play some Creed music?
Yes, please.
Some Creed? Oh, Creed. I've got Creed music right here.
Yeah. You have to.
There it is, boys.
There it is, man. Now it's all better.
Right there. Sorry for your loss. Quater 16's 3-0. Portman Towett, EJ Runis, all 2-0. We got Portman Towett on there twice. How is this hard? Cody Nason 95 is 1-0, the Graphic King. Karazi Exchange, Kyle Jenkins, both 1-0. Tyson's Right Hooks 0-1. Corey Collins 0-3. Sasha Booster Club's 0-4. Remember, if you don't know, you do know. Mm-hmm. If you get to 0-8, let us know. Because we need to put the APB out on whatever your next bet is to totally take the opposite one. And we would thank you for that. All right, Blaine, one more for the Booster Club, then I'm going to get to...
Ride High says, hashtag Ask the Ankle Crew.
Nice.
He says, what's up, y'all? What do you think would be the best way to handle accepting a coaching job elsewhere while you still got games left with your current team?
You don't tell a soul.
You lie.
You lie. 100%.
Nick Saban, best coach ever. What did he do?
Yeah. He said, I'll tell you what I won't be doing.
What did he say?
I will not be the next head coach at Alabama. Then like a week later, he's like, I would like to let everybody know that I'm now the head coach at Alabama. Surprise. Illusions, father. Illusions.
Just lying.
All right, here's what we got tonight. I got to go college basketball. There's no football on, but hell, I've been rocking and rolling in the basketball parlays. Right. So give me Wisconsin money line. Playing in a tournament against Dayton. They're the underdogs. It's basically a pick 'em. They're plus 1.5. So give me that, minus 105. Then here's another parlay. Marquette, money line. Tennessee, money line. Mississippi State, money line. Watch out for Mississippi State. I've watched them too. They are awfully physical.
In basketball?
Yes, in basketball. And then Kansas, money line. You put those together, you get a beautiful birth ticket. No, you get plus 216. That's my basketball parlay today. David Coneth.
So Arizona did come through for my basketball parlay yesterday. Thank goodness I didn't bet on Arkansas, but I'm going to take them tonight. I think Musselman's going to have the crew ready. I would like a little 2-game SEC parlay here. Arkansas and Tennessee both to win in basketball tonight. That's at plus 137. And then I'm going to go ahead and take Texas Tech money line plus 100 against the Buckeyes.
No. I forgot they're playing Ohio State. It's just that type of week.
It's that type of week.
Sports sure.
Blaine, what do you got?
Yeah, somehow we went 1-1 yesterday. I had no idea. I watched
With the Ball State, Miami,
Ohio Bowling Green game, and I watched, Leffler and the boys let me down.
Shocker.
Can't get 55 and up. We have 7 at halftime, Dave.
I had the over 2.
Might have to put a call in, I'll be honest. But then I looked at Miami, Ohio. They were down, 17-6?
17-6 with
Gave up on it.
To go.
Gave up
7
on
minutes left in the game?
Yeah.
Gave up on it. Woke up this morning, they won by 1. Huge, needed that. I'm betting NBA bets. Have no idea. Hadn't watched a single game, but feel good about the Hawks. Minus 2.5.
I haven't watched a single game, but
they're playing the Sacramento Kings. Don't have to watch the Kings to know that they're not a good team.
That's very true.
Give me, don't have to watch Golden State to know that Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Jordan, I get punched in the face, Pools on there. So give me their 9.5 point favorites, all right, but give me them money line. All right, and give me the over at 220 that's going off at plus 140. # we'll see, guys.
All right, so right now, Baby Cone's at 36-32. David Cone's at 36-32. Blaine's 35-33, and I won last month, so I'm being punished by God. So Baby Cone wants Creighton money line plus 114 and Kansas -9. That's going off at minus 110. This one's getting thick at the end, fellas.
Boys.
This one is getting. What's the date today?
Today's the 23rd.
23rd. Okay.
One more
Still
week
got a
left.
week. I'm just going back and forth. I'm going back and forth on whether I should do the thing that Blaine did earlier in the year, where you just take all right, Jose Altuve to hit the pitch 5 feet over the second baseman's head, first pitch for plus 25,000, and just make a huge units play. But I don't know. Overall record, I'm trying to keep it steady.
Yeah,
it's been good. I don't want to try and tank for 1 month after I'm in the clubhouse leading months.
I mean, you're 26-42. Why not?
No, you're not going to coerce me into this.
Why don't you just hit the gas pedal sometimes? Scream America.
Well, there's a time to do it. There's a time to hit the brakes and scream, let's fix the border.
There is a time to do that.
Speaking about that, by the way, you want to know how I could fix the border?
The border's not fixed?
In an hour.
That's what that guy said.
Here's what you do. You call all the managers of the Chick-fil-A's. You get them to go down to the border, say, listen, here's what I need. I need a lot of good lines. I need efficiency. Get people in. Let's find out, whatever's going on. You put people that work at Chick-fil-A down at the border. There you go. Just solve the border crisis. I should be the vice president.
Chick-fil-A does get it.
Look,
I went there the other day.
It's
the most efficient place of all time.
Yeah.
And you know what? I feel better. It's the only place I get excited to wait in line.
Because you can see the operation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, 16-year-old that's unbelievably responsible with the job and doing great and just stays on script. Yes, I'd love a Chick-fil-A meal with some Chick-fil-A sauce. I'll tell you, you want to know just how America's great? So I go to Chick-fil-A and I get the Chick-fil-A meal, #1, Chick-fil-A sandwich meal with the fries and a drink. And I take it home, put it on a paper plate because that's how we do things. # save the planet. And I get out, I get the fries out, put the sandwich on the plate. I get the one Chick-fil-A sauce out. Hey, you don't rush me.
Can we just, come on.
Okay?
Come on.
And so I'm almost done. I'm halfway done, and the Chick-fil-A sauce is gone. And I'm like, God. So I reach in the bag, and they put another Chick-fil-A sauce.
They get it. They do get it.
So my buddy ate Chick-fil-A yesterday, 2 chicken sandwiches.
Your buddy?
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Jason, yeah. Both of them were undercooked. He threw up after he ate them. He said he's never eaten Chick-fil-A again.
That's a lie.
That's what I said. I was like, first of all,
you're lying.
First of all, watch your mouth.
Yeah, don't lie to me.
Second of all, Chick-fil-A doesn't do that.
Yeah.
All right. And I've always said, I'm trying to get closer to God, so I try to eat Chick-fil-A every 2 days.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Ate it yesterday.
Nice.
Some nuggies.
Some nuggies?
Some nice solid nuggies.
You love some good nuggies.
I mean, there's nothing like the grilled nuggies are fire too.
They are. Everything there is good.
I mean,
there's not a bad thing on the menu. Even the lettuce is good.
God, I hate lettuce. Can't do it.
Well,
lettuce salads, don't trust it.
Let us read the Booster Club.
All right, poll. Okay, which one is better? All right, Blankles are Blankles, but spelling's different. All right.
What's the difference?
Blankles.
Yes.
All right, or Blainkles.
It's got to be your name. It's got to have the I in it. I'm going to go, But the Booster Club is gonna take the first one at 56%.
Yeah, the first one for sure, 62%.
So you were saying the first one as in not the way my name.
No I.
Yes, blankos.
So the way my name is not spelled, that's at 40%. The way my name is spelled is at 60.
So technically, I win.
You did.
that
You were
100%?
closer to the under.
Same.
That's the first one that we've been on the other side of the Booster Club.
Wow. The I'm surprised. 'cause you're more ankle. I feel like you're more ankle than Blaine, so I thought they would,
No, I feel like it was just
that.
it was.
But I do feel like they need to send the show American Ninja Warrior to the border, and if you beat it, you can get in.
I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't think you want to let people in on
Look at that
American
face.
Ninja Warrior.
Look
I know.
at that face
Why don't we just
You
set up?
fix the border problem, and you also make a great TV show.
Yeah, use American Ninja Warrior border. Crisis.
American Citizen Warrior.
That's actually a really
That is fire.
good
I would
idea.
watch that.
That's actually a
Sign a
really
form.
good idea.
Well-
and look, you've got to be like, what do you do for the children though? Is there like a little child obstacle course, or do you just give them like a?
No, it's like you have to make like your performance whether or not decides whether or not your kids get in this country.
So okay, so if you have kids with you,
Yeah.
and you make it,
Your kids are in.
okay. So
Congrats.
basically, if you're under how old? What's the age like where the kid has to compete? You can't have 17-year-olds in here getting in. To me, it's got to be 16. 10?
Look, you're 11 years old.
How
I've
hard
seen
is
it
this
done.
course?
It's hard, as it should be. Shouldn't be easy to get in America.
I mean, the last president we had a TV show. So if it didn't happen with him, I don't know if it's going to happen.
I think we should do that.
Well,
Let's pitch
it's
it.
not the
You know
same.
what? Let's come up with a
Shark
plan.
Tank?
We'll come up with a
I'm saying,
PowerPoint.
like that would have been the best opportunity for
Guys,
this to
sure.
happen.
Guys,
is what my
guys,
point is.
we'll look at cost analysis.
Yeah.
We'll make a PowerPoint. Just show up, see what they think. Nobody else got any ideas.
Kind of like our committee.
Yes.
Let's just form it, and you build it, they'll come.
That is a great idea, Blaine. You did it. And have Chick-fil-A people running the line? That's money.
Oh yeah, you have a Chick-fil-A right there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, even if you don't get in the country, you
At
know
least
how,
you got Chick-fil-A.
No, not even that. Not even that. How bad do you want to get in the country? Because one, you get citizenship, and on the other side, you get Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Golly,
I mean,
a lot on a
I
tell
know
you
over
what,
there. You're
stretching,
welcome, guys.
doing
On that,
up,
we're calling it on
lot
that
on a
one.
Wednesday.
I do want to say I hope everybody has an amazing Thanksgiving holiday. We're still putting out a ton of content. Got a tomorrow, Friday. We're doing a live show Saturday preview,
Sir.
Sunday recap as well. It's never a holiday when you're trying to ball till you fall. But we hope everybody has an unbelievable Thanksgiving. Stay safe out there. We really appreciate you guys. Go subscribe to the YouTube. Get that Daily Wire Plus notification. Follow us on all social media platforms. You got any Thanksgiving wishes you're throwing out there, Connor?
Man, just thankful, grateful.
Yep.
Gonna be with family.
What about you, Blaine?
Thanksgiving wishes? Or what I'm thankful. I'm
I'm not asking you what you're thankful for. I'm saying you
Well, I'm
want
going
to
to say what I'm thankful for. I get to see my my 80-plus-year-old grandmother.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I'm thankful for.
Yes. Shout
And my
out, Mark.
pups. I haven't seen my pups since I moved up here.
Greatest grandmother in the world. Okay, we really appreciate you guys. We will catch you tomorrow. And like the chances of me not falling asleep midday on Thanksgiving, we're going. Gone.